then you also find value in your personal privacy. But with companies like Google, Instagram, WhatsApp, and Discord always trying to collect data to spy on your privacy, it gets kind of difficult to know what to do next. So why don't we go ahead and take a look at the past to understand what we could do in the future in terms of proper, encrypted, and safe communication. Now, in this regard, I am talking mostly about PGP, but then again, what actually is PGP? PGP is a privacy standard made by Philip Zimmermann in 1981, I believe. Senate Bill 266, as a non-legal advisor or interpreter, states, and I'm going to read this off, Title 2, Subtitle B, Electronic Communications, expresses the sense of the Congress that providers of electronic communication services and manufacturers of electronic communication service equipment should ensure that communication systems permit the government to obtain the plain text context of voice, data, and other communications when appropriately authorized by law. Which essentially just sounds like they can take it as long as they request it through the right fields, and is a great reason to actually have privacy. But overall, PGP is actually a great tool for privacy and encryption, mostly because it takes the asymmetric keys generated from PGP and actually lets you verify the sender and properly encrypt it while also keeping full privacy while in transit. To encrypt data, send messages publicly, and still have security and knowledge of their security while, having full privacy with your communications. Now, there are obviously some services that have made this easier than just typing it into the command line and saying generate code and having to store it in multiple different places, but that's what we're talking about right now. Thankfully, we have tools such as GNU PGP, Cleopatra, so much easier, Proton Mail, and Thunderbird. Those are the 4 tools I've actually tried briefly, but still tried nonetheless, to understand what PGP actually is, does, and how it works. From my understanding, PGP is actually more than just emails, messages. It is an entire encryption platform because you can encrypt files, data, messages, whatever you want. And it is only unlocked with your private key and encrypted with your public key. Now, the keys are actually where PGP is amazing because you have a private and public key using asymmetric encryption, like I said before, where your public key is something that you can share to the world to verify, hey, this is me, like this is technically my encrypted username, where your private key is something that you hold where you actually have access to say, hey, this is the key to unlock all of the files that you're trying to send me that you have verified are from me. Proton Mail, for instance, makes it much easier by giving you access to these public keys whilst also generating them and using them in the background where you don't have to think about it at all. Thankfully, Proton does give you access to these tools to make it much easier, but you also have tools like GNU PGP and Cleopatra. Both tools native to Linux, and Cleopatra I'm pretty sure is cross-platform, but also GNU PGP and Thunderbird are also great as well. Thunderbird admittedly has had issues in the past, but Cleopatra, GNU PGP are actually much easier, in my opinion, for navigating, since Thunderbird has not as much stuff, but it's not as polished, but that's neither here nor there. Both of these tools let you generate, store, and verify your keys from senders, receivers, and things that you are also trying to encrypt just because, all in its application. So this is definitely something that I would recommend to make things much easier. All of the links to these are in the description below, and hopefully whatever visuals I have decided have made this easier to understand. So hopefully this was a entertaining or informative video. either or, I'm not too sure. And you've at least found a way to use privacy and encryption in your daily lives. And with that being said, I have nothing left. Good night.